What's up everyone, Alex here. So it's May 2024, which marks the 7th anniversary of Backlog Battle, and I just want to take the time to thank every single one of you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel, and more importantly, posting comments and creating positive discussions about video games over the past several years. Now, I never imagined that I would be doing this almost like 45 years old now and starting this like in my late 30s. And I want to say like every single one of you has contributed to so much of my personal growth as a gamer and also as somebody who loves video games. And you've proven to me that video games are fun again, and you will stop at nothing to find the best games to play out there alongside with me. So thank you very much for that. Now, for this huge milestone, I wanted to do something big, something unique, and something really fun. And I just kind of came up with this idea because I was browsing through all of the videos on the channel and noticed that I had reviewed 145 games, but never scored a single one. And so in this video, I've decided to score all 145 games in a matter of minutes in rapid fire fashion. Now, obviously, it would kind of sound weird if you heard me like say the names of the games, so I actually asked Emily from Orbalology to say all of the names of the 145 games that I've reviewed on this channel. And if you haven't checked out Emily's channel yet, go check it out because she makes some really amazing videos. And of course, she's just a really nice person to boot. So thank you very much, Emily, for helping me out with this little fun project. Now, to make it more fun and to make things a little bit more unpredictable, as opposed to just going from the oldest to the newest or the newest to the oldest, I ran the names of all 145 games through a randomizer, renamed every single file into the numbers so that way the only thing that I can determine is whether or not I want to do things in ascending order or descending order depending on the number on screen, basically. So that way, like, I just can be surprised by what games I've reviewed, because honestly, I reviewed so many games, I don't remember every single one of them, but we're gonna try. We're certainly gonna try with this video, and I hope you'll be surprised by how much I've covered on this channel. Also, I'm going to be scoring all of these games using a scale of 1 to 10 with no decimals, and I've decided to score them based off of how I feel about them right at this very moment, versus trying to figure out what I was thinking back in the day and figuring out how much I would score them back then. It's been years for some of these games, and I just don't remember the mindset that I had back then. And I think this will be really fun for you to see how much my opinion has changed, if at all, depending on like how long ago these reviews have been. Now, if you're really curious to find out what I felt about these games back when I first reviewed them, you can always check out the playlist that's linked in the description of this video that, of course, naturally contains all 145 games. Alright, are you ready? Because I don't know if I am. I'm actually a little bit nervous because I'm going to be doing this in rapid fire order and I'm just going off the cuff here. So let's do this.
Front Mission First Remake.
Ooh, I like Front Mission. The remake is kind of... I'll give it a 6.
Yakuza 6, The Song of Life.
8.
Master Detective Archives, Ring Code.
An 8.
Arcadian Atlas.
7.
AI, The Somnian Files.
Ooh, I'll give it an 8. It was pretty good.
Class of Heroes 1 and 2 Complete Edition.
Ooh, if I'm being honest, a 7.
Dragon Quest Builders.
An 8.
Pac-Man World Repack.
I don't remember this game. I know I think it was a platform. Yeah, it's a platformer. I'll give it a 7.
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
9.
Yakuza Kiwami 2.
9.
Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince.
8.
The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero.
Oh man, that's a 10 for me. I love Trails from Zero.
Harvest Stella.
9.
A Way Out.
Oh, that's the co-op game. I'd say 7. I have my opinions. I highly recommend checking out the review for that.
Odin Sphere Lathe Razir.
Ooh, 9.
Neptunia, Sisters vs. Sisters.
Ugh. I dated that one. 5.
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
9.
The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure.
8.
Astral Chain.
9.
Steins Gate Elite.
9.
Final Fantasy 16.
8.
Lapis Labyrinth.
8.
Wayward Strand.
8.
Coffee Talk.
8.
Ease 8 Novelization.
Novelization was pretty good. I'll say like it's an 8.
13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
That's a 10. I love 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
Trials of Mana Remake.
9.
Ease 8 Lacrimosa of Donna.
Wow. I'd say a 9.
Live Alive.
8.
Star Ocean The Divine Force.
8.
Persona 5 Royal.
9.
Fate Samurai Remnant.
8.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2.
9. I have a soft spot for Tony Hawk.
Cozy Grove.
They stopped updating this game, so I'd say a 7.
Murder by Numbers.
10. I really love this game because it gives me some really good like Phoenix Wright vibes, and it's a puzzle game, and I love puzzle games, so definitely check it out if you haven't.
Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise.
My review like felt like it was a bummer, but it's actually a pretty decent game, so I'll give it an 8.
Zenki Zero Last Beginning.
9.
The Diofield Chronicle.
You know, I liked it when it first released, not so much now, so maybe 7.
Adore.
Adore. 6.
Voice of Cards The Forsaken Maiden.
An 8.
Potionomics.
9. And if you haven't played this game, there's a console port coming later this year, and it's going to feature voice acting, which that's huge to me.
Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
That's an 8.
Conception Plus Maidens of the 12 Stars.
This game is crazy. You know, I enjoyed it. It's an 8.
Fire Emblem Engage.
Engage is pretty good. I'd say it's an 8.
Berserk Boy.
8.
Monster Hunter World.
9.
Eder Knights.
7.
The Caligula Effect 2.
7.
Atelier Ryza 2 Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy.
That's an 8.
Octopath Traveler 2.
Octopath Traveler 2. Well, of course it's going to be a 10. I was kind of expecting the first one as well because it's somewhere on the list. At least I know both of the games are on the list, but absolutely 10. It is still one of my favorite turn-based JRPGs, like, probably ever at this point.
Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes.
Oh, this is a 9 for me. I love Three Houses. I didn't review Three Houses, I know that much, but I did like this take on Dynasty Warrior style gameplay.
WrestleQuest.
7.
Scarlet Nexus.
8.
Rhapsody Marl Kingdom Chronicles.
So this is tricky because this actually has 2 games, but I really like this, so I'm going to give it an 8.
Hatsune Miku Project Diva Megamix.
8.
Valkyrie Elysium.
7.
Persona 5 Strikers.
Strikers was really good. I'd give it a 9.
Voice of Cards The Isle Dragon Roars.
That's a 9. Especially like that's like my first experience with the Voice of Cards series. That's always going to be special in my heart.
Persona 3 Reload.
Okay, Persona 3 Reload. I would give it a respectable 9. It's still a really good game. It's Persona 3 with like all the modern amenities.
Dragon Quest Treasures.
Treasures was really fun. I'd give it an 8.
Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line.
That's a 10 for me. And I know that sounds weird because it's a music game, but it's a music game that takes you throughout the entire history of Final Fantasy, you know, through the use of song. Like the whole story's being told through song, and I love that. Absolutely. 10.
Gungrave VR.
Oh, did not like this. I'm going to give it a 3.
Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
That's really good. That's a 9 for me.
Catherine Full Body.
I love Catherine, despite all the controversy, so I'm going to give it a 9.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Relink is great. That's 9.
The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4.
Ooh, you guys are not going to like me for this. I'm only going to give it a 7.
Tactics Ogre Reborn.
That's an 8.
Grim Grimoire, once more.
It's a Vanillaware game, but I didn't like the gameplay too much. I would probably give it a 6.
Kandagawa Jet Girls.
That is a jet skiing visual novel game. I had a blast with that. I'm going to give it a 7.
Sea of Stars.
Ooh, this is going to be controversial. I'm going to only give it a 7.
Trinity Trigger.
7.
Boss Fight Books Bible Adventures.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that I reviewed audiobooks. So this book is about Bible adventures, and I remember really enjoying it because it was succinct and told a really good story. So I think it's an 8.
World's End Club.
Oh man, this used to be an iOS game that it got ported, and the gameplay was not great. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Lost Epic.
Lost Epic, yeah, somebody actually commented on this review recently. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Fairy Tale.
I used to like this game, and then the more like I just got away from it, the more like I kind of saw it for what it is. It's a 6.
One Piece Odyssey.
An 8.
Power Wash Simulator.
I think that's a 10. I think Power Wash Simulator deserves a 10 because we do need that kind of relaxing game in our lives to kind of cut through the monotony of the games that we're playing. And that was perfect when it came out. Absolutely 10 for me.
Sakura Wars.
That's an 8.
Star Ocean, The Second Story R.
This is a 10. Like, that remake was amazing. And the fact that they just recently updated it is just, it's great. I love it. 10.
Atelier Marie Remake.
That is a 7 for me.
Pokemon Legends Arceus.
That's a 9. That's an easy 9 for me. Like, I have tried to get into Pokemon for so many years, ever since the 90s, and I just couldn't get into it. And then Arceus came out, and I just got hooked. That is absolutely a 9 for me.
Labyrinth of Galleria, The Moon Society.
That's an 8. I never really have played like first-person dungeon crawlers the way that I did with this game, and I just absolutely adored it from beginning to end.
Triangle Strategy.
That's a 10. I mean, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you who are tactical gamers are like, but the story and the build-up to like the battle, da-da-da-da-da. I don't care. The story was amazing. The fact that it made you invested in the choices, absolutely awesome. The streamlining of the system so it's not too convoluted, it's perfect for beginners. That's a 10 for me.
Last Day of June.
Oh wow, this is one of the first games that I actually reviewed on the channel. I think it's I think it's a 7. I think it's a good game.
8-Bit Adventures 2.
That's an 8.
Console Wars.
That's another book. I'm gonna give it a 9 because they did adapt this to a movie. The movie is not as good as the book. I highly recommend the book. Definitely a 9.
Taiko no Tetsujin. Drum Sessions.
Okay, from my understanding, they actually like did something to this version. I don't remember if they actually just outright removed it on the Switch or it's still on there, but you can't download the DLC. I think I'm gonna give this like a 2 because I don't want to endorse a game that's not there anymore or is like stilted in some way.
Persona 5 Tactica.
An 8.
Aiden Chronicle 100 Heroes.
That's a 9. I know that's controversial because it's trying to be old school, but I kind of saw it as like a period piece where it's trying to capture the spirit of the PS1 era. There's many games that are trying to do that right now. Signalis is another one of those where it looks like a PS1 game, but it's also survival horror. And I feel like Aiden Chronicle 100 Heroes kind of belongs in that category as well. So definitely a 9.
Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139.
Thank you, Emily, for saying the entire number set of that game. I memorized it by heart. I will give it an 8 because it allowed me to play Nier Replicant, which I never had before. And just the thought of like buying it and stuff, like, the older versions with a different protagonist. I don't know. I just like the boy protagonist, the original vision that Yoko Taro had.
Persona Dancing Endless Night Collection.
Now, this contains Persona 3 Dancing, Persona 5 Dancing, and the only way that you can get Persona 4 Dancing All Night on PlayStation. This is the only way, because unless, you know, you have a Vita and you have that version, which I do, but this is the only way to have it with all 3 games. That's kind of unfair because the other 2 games aren't storyline heavy. I'm gonna give it a 7. No, I'm gonna give it an 8 because Persona 4 dancing all night. I'm starting to forget like the names of the games. It's just really good, and I'm a music game fan, so yeah, an 8.
Good job.
Great game. That's a 7.
Fantasian.
Oh yeah, the last like full soundtrack that Nobuo Uematsu composed, and the last game that Hironobu Sakaguchi, the father of Final Fantasy, is actually making. So I would give it a 9. It was really, really good, especially for a mobile game. It was really good.
The Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie.
I'd give it an 8.
AI The Somnium Files. Nirvana Initiative.
That's an 8.
Tetris Effect.
That's a 10. I know, it's really weird that I'm giving a Tetris game a 10, but this is such a sensory experience, and like it mixed music with Tetris in such a unique way that I don't think any other Tetris game will ever touch, you know, this game in terms of like sheer perfection for me. So definitely a 10 for this.
Crystal Story. Dawn of Dusk.
This is a 7.
Burger Time Party.
I forgot that I reviewed Burger Time Party. I think like I had a catchphrase and hot dogs like throughout that video. I'm gonna give it a 5. And I know that sounds weird because, you know, I played Burger Time back in the day. You'll just have to watch the video to find out why, because I do remember how I felt about that game back in the day.
Wo Long Fallen Dynasty.
That is an 8. That is a great game.
Giraffe and Annika.
That is a 4.
Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness and the Secret Hideout.
It's got to be a 9, right? Like, this is the game that introduced me to the Atelier series, and I just have to pay respects to that. And really looking at the foundations of it, it was really well done and really kind of hooked me into it. Plus the soundtrack, it's gorgeous. It's amazing.
Ys 9, Monstrum Nox. That
is a teetering between 7 and 8. It's not that bad. I'll give it like, you know, I'm starting to remember like the very raid-centric gameplay, and I feel like I'm gonna give this a 7.
Jack Move.
Jack Move is great. It's an 8.
Shin Megami Tensei 5.
With Vengeance coming out, this would be a 9, but I'm gonna dock it down to 8.
A Space for the Unbound.
That's a great game. That's a 9 for me easily.
Loop 8, Summer of Gods.
Oh my god, Loop 8. Oh. Can anybody actually say that they played this game? Truly? I'm gonna give it a 2.
Vampire the Masquerade. Coteries of New York.
A 6.
Atelier Aisha, The Alchemist of Dusk DX.
That's gonna be a 7 for me.
Monarch.
Oh, Monarch. A 6.
Resident Evil 2 Remake.
That's actually a really good remake. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Cry Machina.
Cry Machina. Oh man, this is the game that Emily had a little bit of a problem pronouncing. I liked it. I think it's worthy of a 7.
Unicorn Overlord.
That's, oh my gosh. I don't know if this deserves a 10 or a 9, but I think I have to compare it to 13 Sentinels, which is like super uber perfect for me. So I think I'm gonna give it a 9. It's still a really good score though.
Destiny Connects.
Oh wow. That's a 4.
Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning.
I enjoyed this one. I think this will be an 8.
Judgment.
That's a great game. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Octopath Traveler.
The first one. I will give it a 7.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore.
I have very fond memories of this game. I think I'm gonna give it an 8.
Made in Abyss. Binary Star Falling into Darkness.
Oh, I remember this one. I'm gonna give it a 5 because that intro tutorial was really weird. It made you think like that was the whole game, but it's not.
Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin.
That's a 9. I love this series. And the fact that it's coming out on other platforms as well in June, go pick it up. It's great, especially if you love monster taming RPGs and Monster Hunter. Fantastic game.
Coffee Talk, Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly.
I want to give it an 8.
The Legend of Heroes, Nayuta, Boundless Trails.
That was really fun. I'll give it an 8.
Sandland.
That was fun too. That's an 8.
Pikmin 4.
That's an 8.
Arcade Spirits.
That is a 7 for me. That's still a really good visual novel. I was expecting a little bit more.
Far Cry 5.
That's going to be a 9. I know it's weird that I reviewed Far Cry 5 back in the day, but I still actually really think that it's like the best Far Cry out there. Now, this is coming from a fan of Part 3, but the Joseph, like Seed family, like his family and that bad guy is just really, really good. And I played the whole game co-op with my wife, and that was such a great experience. That's totally a 9 for me.
Chained Echoes.
That's a 10. That is a deserving of 10. Made by one person with soundtrack by, Eddie and Mariana Crow. Absolutely a 10. Like, you gotta play this game, especially if you're a turn-based JRPG fan who's looking for innovation in the genre. Like, this game is so good. It is, like, I have it on both Steam and Switch. Oh, it's fantastic.
Disaster Report 4, Summer Memories.
And of course, it's followed by Disaster Report 4. I'm going to give that a 4.
The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
That's a 10. I know. I'm giving out a lot of 10s like they're candy, but it's actually not. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, I personally believe, is the best out of every single Ace Attorney trilogy or storyline out there. You just have to play it to believe it. It's great. I mean, it has a person who is basically Sherlock Holmes and called like Hemlock Sholmes or something like that. I'm trying to remember right now, but it's really, really good. It's really well done. Especially, like, I also think, like, if you don't like visual novels, I have a feeling you're probably going to like this game too. So absolutely, like, just cream of the crop. Absolutely.
Rune Factory 5.
That's a 5. The fact that they, went from 5 to 6 because, like, 5 ran on the Switch, like, poorly. I mean, I'm sad to say. I mean, I got to admit it. That's what I played. Says a lot about Rune Factory 5.
The Caligula Effect, Overdose.
I enjoyed that game. I'll give it an 8.
Elden Ring.
That's a 10. I mean, it's the Souls-like that got me into this genre pretty much, and kind of really taught me the ways of this genre, and kind of really exposed me to a whole bunch of other games. That was my gateway drug into the genre. So definitely a 10 for me.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
That's a 9. I know, like, why am I not giving it a 10? Well, because by itself, it's a great game. But with the DLC, now, which I haven't reviewed, I would probably give it the 10, because that whole package right there, absolutely amazing. Just, you have to get that DLC. You have to.
Soul Hackers 2.
That's an 8.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, that is tough. I really liked my time with it, and it would be between a 9 and a 10. It would probably be a very high 9 if I had decimals, so I'd give it a 9.
Steel Rising.
That is a Souls-like. I'm going to give it a 7 because at the time there was a lot of novelty to it, but as the years have progressed, like, the setting is the only thing that I remember apart from the automatons. And yeah, it's still a really good game though.
Littlewood.
Probably a 7.
Atelier Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key.
That's going to be an 8.
Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name.
That's a 9. If you haven't played this game yet, it's such a good, compact adventure featuring Kiryu again, and I just absolutely love what they did with this game. It's definitely a 9 for me, and really highly recommended.
The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3.
Part 3. I actually really like this one. I'm going to give it a 9.
Atelier Sophie 2, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream.
This might sound like sacrilege, but I'm giving this a 10 because It's very easy to pick up and play. Even though it has number 2 in the name, it's actually still really good to be able, it actually is very friendly to pick up. Like, it doesn't have the complicated like battle and synthesis system that the Atelier Ryza series has. And it's just a great overall game. Like, I had a ton of fun playing that game, so absolutely a 10.
Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Versus, considering that Versus Rising is out, I'll still give it an 8. It's a really novel idea.
Grapple Dog.
That's an 8.
Tales of Arise.
That's a 9.
Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth.
I really enjoyed this one over the first one, so I'll definitely give it a 9.
Aiden Chronicle Rising.
That is a 9. The kind of base building mechanics that you have there, pseudo base building mechanics, is really fun. Gameplay variety is pretty interesting too. It's just I really enjoyed that game. Okay, I'm like pressing the down button and it seems like I am done. I just basically reviewed and scored 145 games in a matter of minutes. Now, I want to hear what you think of my scores in the comments below, and I dare you to do the same. I want to see you try to review or score as many of the games that I've scored right now in the comments below, because I'm really curious about what you think of these things. And to be quite honest, I don't think I'm going to be scoring a lot of games in the future as well. I think scores change over time, as I demonstrated here, and especially if you're familiar with the original reviews, I had a higher opinion of those games. But over time, we grow, we change our opinions, and I think that's good. It shows a growth in our community. It shows growth in people. So post your comments below. I'm curious to hear what you think of this, and I don't know, like, just to celebrate like the 7th anniversary of the channel, if you want to, post some well wishes there, like, just, feel free to do so. But anyways, I hope you found this really entertaining. I had a blast doing so, and I hope you have a fantastic time. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'm going to see you in the next video.